we'll talk about later. Oh, okay. Great. All right. And we're live. Hello, everybody.
Wait, what is going on?
Oh,
Don't worry about it. It's not
yeah,
important.
just
You
yeah.
You just
Just
sit
look ahead.
sitting here.
Cool.
It's fine.
Okay, great.
It'll be great. We're here, live from
Yes.
Brooklyn, New York. It's not Saturday night.
Aw, Zach, you can get my heart excited like that. Come on. Breaking my everything.
I'm Zach Valenti, actor, producer.
Hi, I'm Sarah Shackett. I wrote and produced Wolf 359, which is the live stream that we're here to talk about.
Yeah, I know you guys.
I'm
all
Gabriel
know we are.
Urbina, and I am learning all kinds of things right now.
And there is somebody lurking,
In the shadows.
unseen.
Hello.
Amazing. Well,
You from Los Angeles, where I just I'll be here for approximately 30 more minutes until I have to leave.
That is the one, the only, the
So-
Scotty Shoemaker.
so glad to have you here, Scotty. It's a pleasure. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Hello, welcome our beautiful patrons.
Hello.
Carola, Julia, Abby, Goothy, I'm sorry if I'm messing up your name. Marina Vermillion, Rennie DiCarlo, Bobby R. Oh, so many people. Kate Fairchild, what up? Rena, Saurus Rex. So many lovely, lovely people. So as always, you got questions, we got answers. Probably most of the time. Sometimes not. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes we won't. Other times, they're more existential and anyway.
And spoilers for the
Thank
entire
you.
show.
Yes.
The entire show of Wolf 359.
Right.
We're done
Thank you.
caring about.
Yeah, we're going to talk
Spoiling
about
it?
everything. We'll talk about episodes. We'll talk
Yeah.
about mini episodes. We'll talk about extra long episodes. We'll talk about Slantways episodes. We'll talk about live episodes.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Smell-O-Vision episodes.
Theoretical episodes.
We'll talk about the long lost video only episode of Wolf 359.
It was really awesome.
Yo, that's really embarrassing. I told you not to talk about that.
Spoilers.
It's like the Star Wars holiday special, you guys.
But yeah,
Okay.
so if you have not
Done.
listened to all of Wolf 359 yet, and I know there are some of you that have been holding off on listening to the finale, and I think that that's a completely respectable life decision.
Yep.
But another completely respectable life decision is to put this aside for now and come back to it later when
It's
it
not
will
going
not
anywhere.
ruin your enjoyment of anything in the series.
Yeah.
And if you have questions besides why are we like this, you can throw them in the chat.
Wait, Sarah, why are we like this?
Because we're awful. We're awful. That's why.
I thought the answer was just going to be like, cocaine.
Not in front
Cocaine
of the
can't explain
children.
this, Gabriel.
Okay.
No, but just throw questions in the chat. It
Yes.
can move quickly. We're do our best job to keep track of it.
And also, if you submitted a question in the form, shout out. So many questions,
There are.
as always.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Y'all
There's a
are
lot.
like, I don't know. Just speaking personally, it's been a ride without Wolf in my life all the time, and this is like pretty cool that like this is still so like happening and real and exciting. Like here with you guys, it's definitely been a highlight of my month, and it's just we're all so grateful here for your continued support of the show. Blowing us away. Like we did not expect this kind of engagement after the series, and every dollar is making a difference for everybody who's been involved in the show. It's just like, it means a lot to all of us, and we're just incredibly grateful.
All right, but let's cut to the slack though, and let's
Yeah,
take care of the thing that everybody wants to know, the most asked question in our lives right now. What's in the damn bot? No, I'm kidding.
That question
actual-
comes up an unfortunate number of times.
The actual most asked question: what's going on with Price and Carter? Where's the
Yes.
Price and Carter?
It's coming.
Yeah, just like a quick update. It is underway. Like it is, sort of for a while we were making the show, that was something that we were going to do. It is now very much something that we are actively doing. It is getting written. It is now sort of, taking out a like good chunk of
time?
our weeks.
Yeah.
And it's underway. 1,001. It turns out that that's a big number. It's much bigger number up close than it seems
Yeah.
to be
In
far
the
away.
abstract.
So we're learning a lot about writing a book versus writing a show and sort of, the differences there. But it's on the way. You'll have more concrete update reports when we have them. We'll keep you posted.
Absolutely.
But for the time being, know that the three of us, Scotty, a lot of people on the cast, they're all at the writing desk. A lot of people are contributing to it. And it's getting made.
Yeah.
And it'll be here. Maybe
when it's
not right away,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but as soon as possible.
Like most baking done by credible bakers.
Mm-hmm.
Ahem.
Yeah.
Zach, what do
It'll
you
be
know
done
about
when it's
credible
done.
bakers?
I know nothing. I am Jon Snow of baking. First question for Scotty Shoemaker. What were Cutter and Price going to do with Rachel, Ryman, and Kepler once they achieved their goal, aka the New World?
No, I'm kidding.
It was for Scotty.
Or am I?
The question
I mean,
was for Scotty.
Right, because everything that we say is not canonical because it's not in the show. And
That's
I'm
right.
curious to be in the mind of the man who was in the mind of Mr. Cutter. 1 second. Do you guys hear Scotty?
Nope.
Scotty, we don't hear you. There you go. There you go.
Can you hear me now? Did I just
Yeah.
put out
You sound a little bit underwater.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, I think I may have literally just had my hand on the spot of my computer where the
Wow,
mic.
that is a hell of a mute.
It happens.
That's crazy.
very
I didn't even know.
effective.
I don't even know where that is. Okay, sorry. I'm
They
getting
call that a
sidetracked.
Costa Rican mute.
Woof.
What was I gonna do with them? Probably. I think they. I don't think I was. All right, just obviously we already gave a disclaimer. I'm just like thinking here, the
Yeah.
spitball.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think I would have killed them. I think I would have brought them along. I think I would have enhanced all of them, and definitely including Rachel. Mostly Rachel. I think maybe Rachel would get the best stuff, but I think all of them I would have enhanced them.
The best for Rachel. I love that.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
would you enhance them without, like, basically making a backdoor to control them the way that you could control Loveless in the finale?
Oh, that's interesting. I would probably tell them that I was doing it that way, and then obviously put in a backdoor.
So you'd be like, I won't control you.
Yeah, I'd be like, you
Controls
were the
them.
special ones. Like, there's no way I control everybody else at the snap of my fingers, but not you guys. But in reality, I'm like, hey, Price, like,
Or would
just
you
to-
guys all just like, would they be like, Cutter, you're not putting a back door, and you'd be like, smile, and then you'd all start laughing because everyone knows that you would.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
But just like imagine how productive Cutter would have been with
Yeah.
like 5 Rachels, each one differently customized
Oh
to
my
do better things.
God.
Yeah.
Or like 10 different Keplers.
Imagine how effective Rachel would be with 5 different
Exactly.
Rachels.
Yeah.
She'd be like worth it.
I guess that's a question. Would I have actually duplicated them and not just enhanced their
Mhm.
existing bodies?
I think that you could have gone to like a very like Cylon place.
Yeah.
Mm.
Dog, I heard you like copies, so I got you some. Anyway.
Wow.
Here, next question.
No, I'm just gonna stare at you for like a little bit
Just
longer.
a little longer.
Oh boy. Why did you decide to create Wolf 359? This is for everyone. All of you created it. Sarah.
Because I needed more stress in my life.
Yes. Yes. You went to your cardiologist and your cardiologist was like, that blood pressure
No,
way
no.
too low.
You're just too healthy.
Yes.
You need to be worried about more stuff. No, I mean, I got on board because I really liked the story and the characters wouldn't get out of my head, so it felt like the thing to do. And that's a credit to what you guys created.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it really, I think, started from a place of we need something to do and something to work at and something to feel at, kind of artistically engage that. More, I wish that I could sort of say, like, we really had this, like, heartfelt howl in our souls about humanity and about personhood and about identity. It turns out that we did, but we didn't feel it when we started making
right.
the
Yeah.
show. It really started out as something that was like, you know what I miss? working at creative endeavors and doing things with people that I know and really respect and really admire and really love. What's something that can get both of those things back in my life as soon as possible?
Right, and I was in the position of actually working on stuff I love with creative people that was just kind of like, it was a little bit less focused. It was a little bit like, just kind of like, man, and that was created specifically Ruffles. If you see like a pink fuzzy thing back there, it was like a sock puppets show I was doing, and it was something that I
he's right there.
started creating when commercial voiceover like wasn't going as far as I wanted it to, when I was like paying a bunch of money to like take courses and get a voiceover reel and all this stuff. And so it was like, I think a couple people knew that I was looking for opportunities, and when Gabrielle posted to Facebook, yo, anybody know a voice actor? One of the people that knew that connected us, and I was like, let's do this. And like, it was a little bit like, let me see a script. And the second I read the script,
No, but
yeah, it was a little bit like, let's do this.
Yeah.
it's really
No matter
read
what.
it. Like I
Yeah.
saw that message too, and I was like, "Oh, show me your radio thing when you have it." You camped out in his
That's true. I
in
did
his messages.
essentially hold you hostage for your lunch money if your lunch money was a script.
It was a good extortion, Rack. You're not gonna get lunch money until you like give me a thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean that is kind of how I'm motivated.
It's
Um,
true.
Yeah.
Was the pilot script written before you guys connected?
No.
No.
The Bible was. I read the Bible and was like, this is fucking awesome.
The
I
show
need
Bible.
yeah, the show Bible. The Bible. Yeah, Gabrielle actually
I'm sorry.
created a religion.
Yes.
Doug Eiffel, he lost his memory for his sins. And it's not very helpful.
It's true.
Oh
Uh,
man.
It's a much more balanced religion
Yeah.
than Christianity.
Right.
But yeah, I think early on it was a business card. That was the dream, was like, let's
Yeah.
write and record ourselves in a Hamiltonian fashion, Alexander out of obscurity, and
Oh, right.
yeah.
Your way out. Great.
yeah,
There, I got it.
podcast your way out. Scotty, go.
What about? I had a question. Is that
Why
did
do
you notice?
why do you create Wolf 359?
Oh no! I literally had a question for you guys that I thought you noticed somehow. No, I was just curious about like when you. I'm just now I'm asking questions.
Please.
No, you're here.
It's ask
With-
me anything. You can ask.
Did the drama of the show creep in? Like, was it at first intended to be more just comedy, and then
Yes.
like,
Absolutely.
It was supposed to be a space sitcom.
Yeah.
right? That's what I yeah. And then so when and why did it suddenly become more dramatic? And
You
it was just
know,
a slow process.
we always sort of had an idea that
It was gonna get
say,
darker.
that it was
later
gonna
on.
like slowly creep in.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of like an idea. Like from the start, there was kind of this idea of at some point the show would shift,
Yeah.
and it was sort of built in so that like at some point, way later on, you'll hear the other people that Doug is in the station with. At some point, way later on, you'll discover that there is some alien presence. At some point, way later on, you'll
There'll
discover
be more to the company than,
exactly. And I think that
A little more of a Night Vale pace, with like a long
Yes.
first season of just sort of fun, and then slow, like much more of a slow burn.
yeah, and part of I think the comedy and the soul of the piece would kind of be this idea of weird things happen, and then next week it's just kind of a different weird thing.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what these people's lives are. One week they'll be battling a space mutant plant monster. The next week, one of them will have this like inexplicable virus. The next week, they'll be fighting over toothpaste, and it's just life, and life just kind of creeps on. But I think that the thing that we discovered was that when we wrote episodes like The Empty Man, like Box 953,
Yeah.
like Extreme Danger Bug, those just landed so much better than some of the like more light episodes. And the characters started to just kind of like rebel against the idea of kind of this just being like this existentialist sitcom. It got to the point where like, no, they want to talk about the weirdness that is happening. They want to be addressing it. They want to be having it. So what was kind of supposed to be sort of like a very gradual glacial unfreezing over like 40 episodes became a precipitous drop that happened in 14 instead.
Yeah.
Would you mind opening the door? Just Tiffy should be able to.
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry.
Pause for cat.
Sorry, one sec. My cat needs to get into the bathroom. Yeah, good question, Scotty. Good answer. I was gonna say,
Oh, no.
you guys have seen Angels in America? Because there was this one night when I couldn't explain it, but there was just these voices, and it said, "You must make this show more dramatic." No, this is just a long roll. Sorry, it's not very good. I saw a question in the chat that was piece of media that inspired you, like the earliest one you can remember.
Media.
Does that mean like
Oh.
earliest one in your life?
Oh, she just loves the mirror. Sorry. I got a mirror recently and my cat's freaking out. I saw another question that was saying, is Tiffy okay? Tiffy's okay. Earliest piece of media that
I
inspired you.
mean, Brothers Grimm, probably.
Wow.
Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
maybe.
That I can remember, Jim Dale reading Greek myths on tape for kids.
Dolaire's Book of Greek Myths is pretty great.
It's not a cat, Tiffy's.
And and there's sort of that like distinction of like
Yeah, of just like thing that sort of got into your craw versus like inspired you to.
right, because I think that like the
Make
first
a
thing
thing.
the first thing that I was ever like, I love this and I want to make something like this was
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. That was sort of the first time that it, like I looked at something and I was like, I think that what I want to do is create fiction.
Yeah.
But in terms of things that have had an influence on me, the Brothers Grimm has had a huge influence on me, and I was getting that read to me when I was like 3.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it kind of depends on what.
What your definition
Yeah.
is.
What about you, Scotty?
Well, I got really excited recently when I found out that Fahrenheit 451 was being made to a movie.
Oh, that's
Oh
right.
yeah.
Which hopefully will be good. And it just reminded me of that. That was like, I mean, obviously not the earliest thing I can remember, but I remember loving that book and loving other Ray Bradbury
Ray
when I was.
Bradbury's great.
So much
Um,
fun.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting. Do you guys know when that's coming out? I don't. I can look that up.
Not off the top
Not
of my
off
head.
the top of my head.
Yeah.
It's HBO, right?
I think so.
Right.
So, characters at a high school prom go, in particular Cutter, and the other characters who seem like they never were children at all.
What
What's the question?
Would you like to know about that?
Like, how would they behave?
Good question.
When would they burn the prom down?
Right. How many of
Yeah.
them would go? Because it's like
Yeah.
Minkowski would not go to a
No. Never.
prom.
I think
Eiffel
Eiffel
would
goes.
probably get lost on the
Eiffel-
way to the prom.
Yeah.
I think he goes stag because he can't get a date.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And like probably like be there for like a little while, and then
And
like he
then-
and some friends
yeah.
would go like have a
Blow
6-pack
off, yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or play video games in someone's
Right.
basement. Yeah.
Oh, Tiffy,
She's just all over the place.
you're in a rare mood.
As much as I would love to think about Cutter at a prom, I don't think he would ever go to one.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think like you forget about like the ascent to power when he's young. Was probably really hard and probably took a really long time. And so, at least when he's young, so probably didn't have time to like do things that normal kids would do.
And
You
he
know?
must have been the world's most fucking intense 18-year-old.
Absolutely.
Right? Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
To get to where he was by, 30 or whatever.
Yeah.
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 If all the characters actually had a talent show, what would each of them present? Who would win?
Well, who's judging is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question. Let's say Cutter and Price.
Cutter and Price are judging.
Then Ryman wins with
Yeah.
his like amazing assassination talent.
Of everyone else in the show.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And Price and Cutter would both be like good strategy.
What
Let's
if it was
call
like the American Idol judges? Or
I think the Ryman's
America's
Ryman-
Got-
assassination
America's Got
skills.
No, the fact
Yeah.
that like he'd kill everyone with a knife that would come back to his hand.
Right,
in
with
the
one
end,
single knife toss, kill
Right.
everyone else. No, I mean, like if they had to go to like Britain's Got Talent or something and perform, which one would have like an actual talent and which one would win? Um,
I can catch bullets.
You can. That's pretty cool.
That's
Like, I don't do we need to say anything else.
Right.
No, I think I'm done.
it's true. Um,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about like
Like in the traditional singing, dancing stuff that shows up on Britain's Got Talent.
none of them
Magic
would be like
tricks.
pretty great. Yeah.
I got a curveball for you guys.
Uh-huh.
Eiffel would lose immediately,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but would get a spin-off television show about how bad he is.
Oh, he would be like the William Hung.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, huh?
William Hung. He was the guy
got a
on
show?
American. He had for like a hot second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly
It
how
lasted
long.
probably, like,
That's
4
exactly
episodes.
how long Doug would have
Yeah.
a spin-off. That's funny. If characters.
So wait, how far does Minkowski's love for musical theater extend? Is she like good at? Is she like a good singer?
I don't think she's a
I
good
think
singer.
degree of love and talent at singing are disconnected phenomena.
As my life is sadly a testament to.
Yes.
But I think that you can listen to Box
Mine
953
Yeah.
and evaluate for yourself how accomplished of a musical performer Minkowski is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If characters had their own podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
what would they be about?
God.
Would any one of them start an audio drama? or
World
fiction
Domination
podcast?
cast with
Yeah,
Cutter
yeah,
and
yeah.
Price.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Um,
Here's what you should do instead: a more sane guide to foreign policy and world domination.
I think Doug would have a show about pop culture.
like Pop Culture Happy Hour, just one of those, like, whatever I want to talk about this week.
This is what we.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like the Reggie Watts thing, like
What's
Comedy
Reggie
Bang
Watts
Bang.
thing?
Oh.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like him being weird with friends.
Alternatively,
That
he might do...
presupposes he has friends. Sorry, I had to do it.
I love you.
You
You're the
love
best.
Hera!
Not for Comedy Bang Bang.
Alternatively, he might do kind of a, like, Till Death Do Us Blart sort of
Oh,
exercise
yeah,
in absurdity.
Absolutely.
Just like every week we're gonna get together and watch Weekend at Bernie's. Eiffel, why are you so obsessed with Weekend at Bernie's?
I'm
Because it's
not.
great. Let's watch it.
Watch it again.
Hashtag art.
Oh man.
1 week later, hey, can you be like a guest in my show? Like, we're gonna do another movie. It's not Weekend at Bernie's again. Is it? No, it's
No.
not. They get there. All right, so we're gonna watch the
1 week.
movie. This is just Weekend at Bernie's again. The doors are not locked.
You cannot leave. Yeah, I don't know. Maxwell might have like a technology podcast.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yes. And Jacoby might sort of have some kind of like, you know, like super inside baseball, like,
Yeah.
you know, like explosives, detonations, sort of, you know, like call-in show.
Right.
Like sort of like
car
Mad...
talk, but for
Exactly, yeah.
but for
I
explosions.
was gonna say like Mad Money, but like with like explosions instead of economics. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I don't think that anyone else. I don't think that
No.
anyone would write an audio drama.
No.
Like I don't think that many of them, sort of have that like yearning to.
To tell stories in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Bobby R asks, do you guys have any general advice and or encouragement for a gal starting production on her first audio drama?
Woohoo!
Do it.
Do
It's
it.
awesome. You're gonna have an amazing time. You're gonna have so
Yes.
much fun.
It's kind of the best thing. Advice.
Yeah, I would quote Rilke to say, focus on the art, or focus on like making the show that you need to make. Like basically for the first like year or two, don't stress, like don't look at the analytics, like don't make it about
Right.
Yeah.
like becoming anything other than someone who produces an audio drama that you love.
Yep.
Yeah.
And don't lose your mind about the recording being perfect. Don't lose your mind about the editing being perfect, about the sound effects being perfect.
None of them will be, and that's okay.
And that's fine.
That's
And if-
perfect.
And if you are saying something, people will forgive all of that. Some people won't. Some people will like complain very loudly about like hiss reduction or whatever. You were never going to make that person happy.
Right.
don't worry about them. Worry about the fact that like a lot of people will genuinely care and will genuinely find something to respond to in your show
Yeah.
if you do what Zach says and sort of just like make the show that you want to hear. You're gonna have a lot of fun. It's a great field to work in, and it's only getting more interesting as more and more amazing people pay attention to it and want to work in it.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say keep listening and enjoying audio dramas.
Yes.
And because the more you do that, the more you're going to be able to find the joy and the enthusiasm when you're worried about hiss reduction. Because there are going to be times when you are.
Yes.
And that's fine. Ride those out. It's great. But there's so much energy and support in this community that if you can plug yourself into that, you can just, Energizer Bunny all the way for however long you want to make an audio drama.
On the off chance that you have not found it, Zach has a wonderful breakdown
yeah.
of like tech
Oh,
things.
right. At
Yeah, mics
www.pod.how.
So like that's like your one-stop shop for
Technical
what
questions.
editing
yeah.
things to use, what microphones, what cables. Much less comprehensive, but possibly useful. I have a little bit of writing about audio dramas on my website at gabrielurbina.com. So check that out. There's one essay that is basically kind of like advice to beginners. So check that out for sort of the long version of what we just did just now. And you might find something useful and interesting there.
I have nothing for you. Just figure it out.
Get a Sarah Shackett in your life. That's the best advice. That is the thing. That is the best thing that you will do for yourself in your creative adventures.
And yeah, like on that note, I think this is like general life advice that I've been getting from my favorite person on Twitter, who is the only person I follow on Twitter that isn't Micro Storytime at this point.
Micro Storytime is great.
It really is. But yeah, it's basically like there are only a few things, like choices that you can make about your life, like these days, that really seem to make a difference. And like one of them is where you live, and I think the other one, which is way more important, is who you spend your time with. And know that like the team that you create around this audio drama, if it starts working from any perspective, will be people you're spending a lot of time interacting with. And
This is
so
true.
be careful. No. I would say like just it's I think one of the most fulfilling things about making something like this are the relationships you're going to build in the process. So yeah,
Absolutely.
Amen to that.
Goddard Futuristics
Okay.
versus the AM
Uh-huh.
from the Bright
Bright
Sessions versus Odar from Ars Paradoxica versus Strexcorp from
That's
Night
Night
Vale.
Vale.
No, okay, Night Vale. Right, basically like all audio drama evil corporations, which one wins? I didn't hear Keikos, but I think that's another show that's all about that.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
I'm a little bit like Strexcorp or Goddard Futuristics.
I think that the AM and Odar are pretty darn nefarious. I think
Yeah.
that they're definitely operating at a lower,
They're very focused.
at a smaller scale.
Yeah, in
Than
a way
Goddard
that
Futuristics.
Goddard and Strex have more universal ambitions.
Yes. And I mean, Strexcorp got kicked out of town
They
by
did.
a group of like ragtag rebels. I don't see Cutter's like rebellion or Cutter's sort of like iron vice like grip,
Yeah.
being overthrown by anything less than, literal harpoony intervention from higher
was-
alien powers.
Yeah, that was his mistake.
Yeah. So, I don't know. This may be like self-aggrandizing, but I think I go with Goddard. I think that just in terms of like what we've seen
Yes.
of the scale that they operate in
Like
the
canonically looking at like how the world is built, I think that the domino like knockdown ends in Goddard Futuristics being the evilest among them.
Yeah. I mean,
Or
I
at least-
wanna,
or
I
at
wanna
least-
have a little humility. Like, Strexcorp is tied to a smiling god. So there's that.
Sure.
But
It's true.
but it's one of the two of them.
Well, I think there's different worlds that you have to take into account. Like,
Yeah.
you know, everyone has atypicals that they might be able to use with powers that don't necessarily exist.
One of them has people that can catch bullets.
Yeah, I guess there's. Yeah, you're right.
It's true. It all comes back to that.
It all comes back.
Scotty, I'm curious from Cutter's perspective. The question: if the characters were given the ability to take a peek into the mind/thoughts of one other character, who would each of them pick?
Ooh.
Starting with Senor Cutter. Sir, you're covering the mic. Okay.
Oh, I am. I feel like he understands so much about people, anyways.
That's true.
Who is inaccessible to him?
I have a thought, but I'm curious about what you say, Scotty.
Yeah.
I wanted to say like maybe Price is the most inaccessible, but I think there may be a level of respect that he would never do anything like that. And also they understand each other so well.
Yeah. Anyway.
So what were you gonna say? Go, Gabrielle, help.
I'd say Bob.
Oh. Yeah. I was only thinking like humans. But that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Bob followed a very distant second by Hira.
Yeah.
Not Price?
No, he gets Price.
He gets Price.
All right. But can you really? No.
He can. You can't, but he can.
I'm like, can any human really get another human?
No, but
No, but Price can get Cutter. Yeah, and vice
like,
versa.
They get each other. It's close enough.
Right.
What would looking into Bob's thoughts be like though? I mean, would we even as humans be able to handle that kind of
I don't
thing?
think so. I don't
Less
think so, but I
exciting
think
than
that
you
Cutter
think.
would be excited about the
The challenge.
and about the prospect and
Yeah.
about sort of like I want to see what a mind operating on a higher scale looks
Is
like.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Even if it just like melts his brain.
I promise it's less whelming than that. Under your whelm, bro.
Right, but like I think that he would be like genre savvy enough to kind of have seen Raiders of the Lost Ark and to sort of like only do it under
certain
conditions that
yeah.
would allow him to like not have his mind melted. Whatever those may be, I have no idea, but I think that he would only do it in like the correct experimental setting.
While we still have you, Scott, so I guess like there was more to that question. I'm like, who would the other characters look into the mind?
All right, rapid
Oh,
fire.
sure.
Hero would look into Maxwell's mind.
Yes.
Maxwell would look
Jac-
into Hira's mind.
No.
No, she
No.
already does. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maxwell would maybe look into either Kepler or Hilbert's mind.
Okay.
Hilbert,
Um,
I think.
Jacoby would look into Kepler's
Yeah.
mind. Minkowski would look into Lovelace's mind.
Correct.
Lovelace would look into Kepler's mind. Rachel would look into Cutter's mind. Ryman would look into his own mind and feel satisfied.
And then move
um,
on. Yeah. Who
That
are we
guy.
missing?
We're missing Eiffel.
Oh.
Who would look into Hero's mind,
Yes.
probably.
he would.
Yes, that's correct.
Hilbert would probably look into Cutter's mind.
Yes, and probably be like, not interested. Can you pass?
Right.
Distracting.
He wouldn't look at Price?
I'm like, one mind is
Yeah,
enough
maybe.
distraction for me. Research not benefited by looking into mind.
I can see arguments for both, and I think that like there's also like a lot of that.
There
Zach.
is also a lot
Yeah.
of that. He may pass on the opportunity.
Right. Like I think that it might be end up being kind of like a cold decision of like which one would get me more. Which
Does-
one would I get like more practical use out of?
Right.
Is not
Um,
have expiration date. I come back later.
Is there anyone that we're missing?
Did we do Eiffel?
Eiffel was doing Hera.
Hira.
That
Hmm.
came out wrong, but yes.
Canon. It's on video. It exists.
Oh no.
Sigh.
Deep breaths.
Anyway.
I think that's everyone.
Yeah.
Did Daniel Kenneth Jacoby run to space because ducks need gravity to swallow and therefore couldn't follow him?
No.
Okay, so this raises no is the answer to that, but this raises some interesting questions. Nominally, have we done the extensive testing on ducks
Oh no.
about their swallowing
Look,
that makes them different from
Those
other?
things can do things you wouldn't be able to do.
But like, how do we know the ducks need gravity to swallow? Like, who has looked into this?
How do we know the ducks don't run the universe and we're just their
Because
experiment?
we've looked into this.
Next question.
Sufficient technology
Next
looks like
question.
magic.
Next question.
How did you get cast? What were the auditions like?
Zach just like camped outside my message inbox, and then it was like, okay, fine, you can be in the show.
Yeah.
Scotty, what were the auditions like?
I don't think I auditioned for Cutter. I think you guys contacted me about playing that role because I had been in Gabrielle's thesis film as also a creepy guy.
And I've been dying to work with Scotty again. Any
Yeah.
excuse to work with Scotty. I think that there wasn't an audition, but there was kind of a like a chemistry read between you and Zach. Like there was definitely sort of a day that we all kind of got together and we read through a sample script between
Yes.
Nightfall and Cutter, and we sort of talked a little bit about what the character was like. And at the end of that, Zach and I kind of looked at each other and we were like,
No brainer.
"Yeah,
I
he's
don't even
Cutter."
read anybody else, did we?
Not for Cutter.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. There was a fair amount of that. But also a fair amount of reading a bunch of people.
Right.
For different
Like
roles, yeah.
Cece was pretty much loveless.
Yeah, the initial
Um,
characters were basically we had somebody in mind, with the
Right.
exception of Hira.
Hira we did casting for. Hira
Yeah.
we did a lot of kind of like reaching out to people and not being sure. Minkowski was Emma. Like
Yeah,
that was
that
in the
was-
air for
Right,
about 3
that-
seconds
right.
She said
before.
yes real quick.
You
Yeah.
were just like, I know who this is. And I'm like, great. She sounds awesome. Can't wait to meet her, my commander.
How well did you guys know Michaela
Whoa,
before?
one sec. Before I forget, while we're on the subject of Commander Minkowski, Emma Sherjarko has a new podcast.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
You should go subscribe to
You
it
should
and
check
rate
it
and
out.
review
Podcast.
it.
Pairing
Do it all.
podcast. It's
Great.
awesome.
It's called
Yes.
the Pairings Podcast. It's about pairing wine with pop culture. It's amazing.
It's
She's
really
amazing.
It's
great.
really fun.
It's
you
fun.
guys.
You'll hear some familiar voices if you subscribe to it, and not just Emma.
Yeah.
But come on, you all know that you want Emma's voice gracing your headphones
In your
again,
life.
so
Yeah.
make sure you do it.
And if you do check it out and you feel like it, ratings and reviews and
They make a huge
particularly
difference.
Apple Podcast make
Yes.
a big difference for
Please.
the algorithm
Yes.
for finding it. It's like basically a +1 on like Reddit or whatever. It just helps people find it. So
Oh yes.
yeah, somebody was asking something.
Scotty was asking how well do we know Michaela,
Oh, before.
which
I went to elementary school, high school.
Oh yeah, I know that.
and
Yeah.
college, and I still
were you
didn't know her
close?
very well.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
yeah, I did not know Michaela at all. I'd seen
No.
her in a ton of things
Because
All
she was
of the
in
thesis
literally
films.
every movie.
All of them.
and a ton of plays.
And a ton
yeah.
of plays. Yeah.
I didn't see any of her plays. I
Yeah.
only saw her movies. Yeah. What were your first thoughts when you heard about the show?
Well done, me. This looks like a win.
That's amazing. I wish that was true.
It's so not true.
Yeah.
That is basically the opposite of
Right.
what I thought reading the show the first time. Yeah.
Whereas my reaction was, "Well done, you. Let's do this." Well, it depends. Like, for when you heard about the show, when I heard about it on Facebook, I was like, "I'm fucking in." I didn't even know what the show was. I just like, I'm interested. Like, you're amazing. Like, I've seen some of your work. Like, I like you've been on my radar.
This is when I go get more tea.
Yeah.
Like, let's do stuff.
Do the thing.
And then when I read the Bible,
Oh.
I was skeptical about it being a one-man show, and then when I read the one-man show pilot script, I was convinced that it shouldn't be a one-man show because it's not a show that I would have listened to for an extended period of time. And that is how that cookie crumbled. Scotty? When you first heard about the show, what was your first thoughts?
Oh. Trying to think back. I don't know how much.
Mike's covered a little bit.
Oh, I keep doing that, and I also got to go soon. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
I blame.
I'm not really sure about my. I can't. I honestly can't. I can't speak honestly about that. Like thinking about my very first thoughts. I mean, I could say something, but I just don't quite remember. I mean, of course, I loved it. I thought it was great. I think it's great, and I wanted to be part of it. But beyond that,
Yeah,
I don't know. I was yeah.
excited. I don't remember exactly what I thought. I know I sent you some thoughts.
You did.
I don't remember what they
were
are
helpful.
now. Good job, past me. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's always nice seeing people I know making great things.
Yes.
I think that's
Yes,
fun.
that is true.
Warms my soul.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of love for Well Done Me, but
I hope it's in love because of how out of character
yes,
and humorous it is.
yes, that is my feeling. We have a question about Black Panther and whether we've seen it and
Yes.
what we think about it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
We have
Saw
at least the three of us have seen it.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Scotty?
I have. I went Saturday night.
And what'd you think?
I thought it was great. I thought it was really, really fun. I thought it had a interesting message, a great message. But I got so hung up on like one thing, and it was like hilarious. I was obsessing about like the plants, like the flowers that they grow, and how he burnt them all,
Yeah.
and how like he smashed up the last one in existence, like without even a second thought to save him. There was no comment on like, oh, maybe we shouldn't smash this because like our entire lineage from here on out depends upon growing this flower. So they're probably gonna like come back and be like, oh, it's fine. Like we found another little like bush over here.
Or he's the last Black Panther. But you got to imagine if they have advanced technology to invent flowers like that, they could like resynthesize.
Well, the flowers
Well, they didn't invent them though.
They were
right.
grown into the mountain because
because of the
right.
not
vibranium.
Yeah, right.
thank
Not
you.
the unobtainium.
Yeah.
The vibranium.
That is a small thing. I loved the majority of it, but that thing I just got
That is
so hung
so
up on it.
funny.
It was hilarious. I got obsessed.
Yeah. I
No,
really enjoyed it.
I liked it a
super
lot.
fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think it's like one of the most important like messages that a superhero felt like it gets explicit for America in a way that I'm like I'm glad to know that this can get made today. Like this is like we have something.
No, and it's a great movie. It has wonderful action. I want to hang out with like all
Every
the
single
characters.
character.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. Which is really a testament to how good the writing is,
Yeah.
and how amazing the actors are, and the production design, and all of it. Just all of it was great.
Hats off to Ryan Coogler and everyone in the
Right.
team. Fantastic
Also,
jobs all around.
if you don't follow Lupita Nyong'o on Instagram, she's been posting a ton of awesome behind-the-scenes stuff from the movie.
Oh yeah.
It's really great.
And she has some sort of bet with Michael B. Jordan where he has to like do a push-up whenever she commands.
On command, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
the most adorable
God.
thing I've ever seen.
They are fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing. I'm following her right now.
Next.
Nice.
All right, next question.
Next question. Let's see. If the characters had to babysit a group of kids, whatever the reason
kids.
is,
Yeah.
whatever the reason is, what would it be like for each of them? More importantly, what would it be like for the kids?
Bad.
Awful.
And or like a really fun day. Both.
Who would it be a fun day with, though?
Well, it could be that situation of like.
They lose them in a
What's-
theme park, and then the kids get an awesome day.
Okay,
What's
sure.
the Pixar movie where like the kids are having a great time, and I feel like there's a Pixar movie, and like the parents or like the guardians are like incredibly stressed. I don't know. I have this.
I mean,
animated
Jack
thing.
in The Incredibles is always.
This
having
is
a
true.
great
This is
time,
true, yes.
During just complete
Right.
mayhem. But
Right, where the baby is just like fine, and the parents are like, "Holy shit! Like we're gonna kill our child," or like it is precarious.
Oh, that's not a
No, that's
Pixar
not
film.
Pixar,
that
I
might be a
think.
Disney film.
Okay, I
Yeah.
don't know. I also may have just made it up, but
No,
Animation
but like,
Studios, call this man.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you know that Minkowski as a babysitter would be like, all right,
The
here's
most
today's schedule.
structured-
Vroom.
Ugh.
From 8 to 8:07, we are going to have like, story
Apple
time.
slices.
Then after that apple slices. After that we will have like
Six
freeform
apple
fun time.
slices.
Right.
Yeah. Then we will play like Cranium or some educational game.
Right.
Wow.
3 3/4 minutes of TV on the Discovery Channel.
And it would just be chaos.
There's some consensus that strangely Kepler would make a great babysitter.
Interesting.
That was amazing.
I mean,
If I had to,
If you had to pick one of the characters,
if I had a kid and I had to leave them in the like custody of like one of them,
yeah,
I'd probably still do Rachel.
yeah,
But,
oh my god, though.
but like I feel that like Rachel would just kind of be like a little bit annoyed, but like just kind of like do
Competent.
like a neutrally
Yeah.
good job.
yeah.
I feel that like I
She
would,
like
come
put
back
a movie on, and then she'd be doing her work, but also paying enough attention
right.
that like the child wouldn't die.
I feel that like with Kepler, I'd come back and my kid would be reading like Ayn Rand or something like you
Yeah.
know, that I would be sort of like some fuse has been lit
Right.
That,
by this
yeah,
experience that is gonna blow up sometime and it's gonna be awful.
Right.
But guys, what about Hilbert? Terrible idea.
Yeah, about that.
Well, Maxwell or Hera?
Maxwell was a thought. She might not pay attention
Yeah.
at key moments, depending on how young the child is. If the child is like 8 or above, I'd be fine with Maxwell.
I think that Hera would be like a little too freaked out by the concept of
Yeah.
interacting with a human child. I think that Hera would be a little bit too much like,
Ugh.
hello, I hear that you are delicate and like nutritionally deficient. So we are going to like, you know,
Yeah.
be super, super careful and super, no, don't touch that. You know, just
Yeah.
like just kind of be like very freaked out by the concept of like, being in
your
charge of
psyche
a
is not
child.
fully developed. This is really weird.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna go. I love you all.
Peace out.
Scotty,
Love you.
Scotty.
you are the
Love
absolute
you.
best. Love you so much.
Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody,
Bye-bye.
and thank you so much for being patrons. We love you.
Guys,
Peace
Scotty
out.
is the best.
Scotty's the best.
Scotty is so cool.
I realized we forgot Daniel Jacoby in Whose Mind Would He Look Into?
No, he
Oh,
looked into
Kepler.
Kepler.
Oh, he's
Look
looking
into
at
Kepler's
Kepler.
mind.
Okay, somebody was asking
Like
in
in
the
a
chat.
hot second, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lambert, though?
Lambert is a babysitter.
Yeah, and Mind.
Oh, and whose mind would he look into?
Loveless.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe he wouldn't want to look in there.
I don't know.
I think
Again, it sort of depends. Like, is it like end of his time, Lambert, or sort of like, you know, start a change
Start
of
of
mind,
relationship.
Start to change
Lambert?
your mind.
Because start a change of mind, he's like it would be like a downgrade. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it would be he would be
I
look too
don't
looked
wanna be
down on her
sullied.
too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He'd also look into his own mind and be pleased.
No, he might look into Selberg's.
Yeah. Or
And
into
then be
Fisher.
Or into
horrified.
Fisher's.
Yeah.
Because I think if he looked into Selberg's and learned all of the secrets,
Well, then he'd be
he would
dead.
feel duty bound to
Then he'd
not
be-
tell anyone.
Yeah.
Then he'd
It would be,
dead.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not if he, like, he doesn't have to tell Selberg that he's in his
Yeah.
mind.
Fourier
And-
would be a good babysitter,
Oh
though.
yeah, she'd be a great babysitter.
Fourier is the only babysitter among them. Ryman?
Why? No.
I mean,
Mitzrayim?
you'd come back and like your child would be like hog-tied in a closet, and Ryan would be like,
It's
"What?
secure."
It's exactly
The package is secure.
right. You didn't say anything about comfort. You said safe.
Yeah.
It's safe.
He would like sedate it.
Yeah.
Big cipher.
Again, like effective, but not exactly
Not what you
quality.
Not a safe patrol on the planet right now.
Yeah.
Wow. Loveless?
Oh.
Loveless would be sort of that like, you know, like cool
Yeah, kinda
older
fun.
babysitter, but that would like be sort of the kind of person that would like give the kid his first smokes,
Yeah.
or like, you know, sort of
Or just be like ice cream for dinner kind of
right.
person. Yeah.
You think she'd give him cigarettes?
Yes.
No, yeah,
Yes, she would. If she smokes,
Does she smoke?
she would.
maybe.
Are you okay?
That's gross. I'm sorry.
We're not saying she does,
We're not saying
but
she
we're
does.
saying that, you know,
But like,
she would.
a 14-year-old in her care expressed a desire to try cigarettes, she would buy them a pack.
Yes.
And
Yes.
make them smoke the whole thing so they never do that again.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah, she would provide
Oh,
alcohol
God.
to the children.
Oh, God, I'm sorry in advance.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Dougie Fresh or Doug E. Fresh?
No, Dougie Fresh.
Dougie Fresh.
Yeah.
It's written
like,
that way in the script.
yeah, like not like Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, they don't have the
No.
scripts to compare, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. Doug E. Fresh or Dougie Fresh. So that's Dougie space fresh is the correct. Doug space E space fresh.
Not incorrect.
Incorrect. If SI5 ran the Eris test, we actually don't need headphones anymore.
Oh, yeah, we can take them off. Freedom.
If the SI5 ran the Eris test, how would it go, and what would be their challenges? It would go great, and their challenges would be vanquished.
Well,
Ish.
I mean, I think that
It would go better than it goes for the first Hephaestus crew.
yes.
What would the
So the thing that is giving me pause is, are the problems that Kepler's team has
Yeah, ones that...
things that Eris would care about? Because the problems that they have make them dysfunctional as personal human beings, not necessarily as an effective
operatives.
team.
Yeah.
But I think that if Eris got a hold of them and was like, no, what they pay me for is making people better, fine. I think that she would focus on making Jacoby more of an independent
Yeah.
thinker and more sort of someone that like respects the chain of command while still having an individual perspective, and making Maxwell someone who is perhaps a little bit more honest about her own agendas and when she's sort of putting what she wants to do first. I think that those would be sort of the things that Eris would like try to
Yeah.
dramatically tease out if she got a hold of the SI5 team.
Cool.
Yeah.
If the characters were in a fighting game,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
what
dear.
would their special moves be?
God.
I know what Eiffel's would be.
Bicycle kick?
Really smelly.
Just...
You'd just
I
be like,
mean,
burp, and then everybody would fall
he would
down.
burp and then everyone
Yeah.
would die. That sounds great.
So, I mean, you know, what
Electricity
this...
for Price and Hera, that's sort of...
Sure,
they can have
sure, that
different
is...
colors.
That is
That's
kind of...
borne out
It
in
is
the
kind of...
series.
Yeah.
Uh,
It is a little bit canon, basically.
yeah.
God, I mean, I don't know. Minkowski harpoon.
Yeah.
Kepler hits you with a bottle of whiskey.
I mean, Jacoby has a grenade.
Yeah.
Or endless grenades.
Right. Maxwell deploys her drones.
Right.
Eula
For
Chavez
battle
asks
bots.
if Kepler is just perfect.
No, I think they would put. You know what they might? What is the name of that movie where the family is at the ski resort and there's an avalanche, and the father runs away? Is it Force Majeure?
I don't know. I haven't
That's
seen
no
Force.
idea.
I haven't seen Force Majeure.
Okay, I think that's the name of the movie. Like he would have to. Eris would dramatize a situation. Where I
Oh
think-
yes.
Yeah, you know.
I
what
was
I'm
like,
talking
why are we talking about this?
Yeah.
Yes. Continue.
Dramatize a situation where Kepler sort of has to deal with living up to or not living up to the expectations that people have for them, and sort of recognizing that, and recognizing, you know, what he is driving people to do in a way that he doesn't currently.
Yeah. But
I think it's Force Majeure.
But again, sort of, I think the question that is still echoing in my mind is kind of like, would Eris and her masters care to fix these problems?
Probably not.
Maybe not.
Probably not. Uh, did Kepler have children? Seems to be a repeated question
That's a question.
It's a question.
that will remain a question.
Yes.
We know from retroactive cleverness that you've seen Steven Universe, with the exception of me. I don't think I've seen like episodes, but not like I haven't watched it the way I sat down and watched
Gravity Falls.
Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't seen Gravity Falls,
Watch
it's a
Gravity
great show.
Falls. Also watch Steven Universe, but watch Gravity Falls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's next on my list, I think. We know that some people watch it. What do you think the characters? What do you think the characters' gemsonas would be? Since different kinds of gems have different characteristics and roles in life, what would the fusions between certain characters be like, and how parentheses and parentheses stable would they be? Which ones would be the most unstable or stable?
So
I
there's
don't
a
know enough
couple.
about
So there's a couple.
gems.
Yeah, there's a couple of
Yeah.
disclaimers here. One is that I'm very behind on Steven
Me
Universe.
too.
I haven't seen it in over a year.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Um,
gemsonas. What have I been missing?
The other is that, I'm the kind of person that learned that lapis lazuli and peridot were gemstones by watching Steven Universe.
Right.
I'm very much like not someone that knows things
And
about
like I'm
gems.
aware that those are stones in the world, but like not the sort of characteristics that one might associate with an emerald. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know about the characters. Like I know Ruby in Steven Universe. Like I know what that means and
Right.
like what rubies are like, but yeah,
Right.
I'm not super well versed.
Cool.
So maybe what we could do as kind of the like meeting this halfway
Yeah.
is we can go through the characters and classify them as either amethyst,
Garnet.
or oh my god.
Pearl.
Thank you. My
Yeah.
favorite, and I
No,
forget
no,
her
no.
name. Jesus Christ. So yeah, so just kind of a like, if you have to
Yeah.
classify the characters into one of these.
Okay.
Eiffel?
Lovelace or
Eiffel?
Amethyst.
Okay. Minkowski,
Pearl.
Hilbert,
Pearl.
yeah, Hero.
Oh shit. I don't know. Maybe whatever the fusion of Garnet and Amethyst is.
Okay, fine. I'll give that to you. Lovelace.
Garnet.
Okay. Kepler.
Garnet.
Jacoby.
Amethyst.
All right. Maxwell.
Whatever the fusion of Garnet and Pearl is.
Ryman.
Uh,
If you haven't seen Steven Universe, by
Yeah,
the way,
this
this
is-
is
we're so
fucking
sorry.
scintillating.
yeah. Shit. Ryman is Greg Universe. He's not. He's just outside the continuum, man.
Right.
No, he would probably be Garnet.
Okay, Cutter.
Pearl.
Yeah.
Actually, though.
Bryce.
Whatever. Price would be one of the diamonds.
Yeah, like Yellow Diamond or
She would-
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
she'd be Yellow Diamond.
And who am I missing? Rachel? Did I say Rachel?
Oh, Rachel would be Peridot.
Fine.
You know I'm right about that.
Yeah, I know you're right about that.
Okay,
All right,
great.
I
we
think that's
solved it.
everyone.
Um,
That is as solved as we're gonna get it. We're sorry. We do not.
whoever asked that
We're not
question.
in as deep into mineralogy as we would need to be in order to like do anything worthwhile with fusions and
Yeah.
characteristics and.
That is an intense question. I
think beyond
respect
that.
that. I
Yeah.
can't wait to be able to answer that eventually. I gotta watch that show. I didn't realize this. While re-listening to the series,
Mm-hmm.
this person has realized there are a couple of soundtrack pieces that haven't been released yet.
Correct.
Ooh,
Can we expect a third soundtrack volume to be released?
funny.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
There's always the possibility of more things.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, like never say never until there is something from us that is sort of like
Until the heat death
it
of
is
the
now
universe.
all
It's
going
now-
into the Disney
yeah,
vault.
yeah.
But yeah, no, there are definitely a good chunk of tracks that have not been released.
Yeah.
So
I think
Right.
Alan made
stay tuned.
how many? I don't remember.
Right.
Over 100 different
Yeah.
tracks of
Wow.
music for the
That's
show.
amazing.
Not
Yeah.
all of which were used in the show, but he made them. Yeah.
Right. Similar question, or somewhat related, is
Mm-hmm.
what is going to happen to the Wolf 359 store? How long will it stay up?
That's a good question.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
There
It's open
are
for now.
some logistical things. I think it's safe to say that it will be up for the rest of this year, but there's just like a lot of things about keeping that live that like we need to find a way to do it that is sensible for everyone involved.
Yeah.
fair.
It is the thing that we can tell you is that it will not disappear overnight.
Yes.
It
You
may
will have
disappear.
ample warning.
You will have warning.
Yes. We will not just like pull anything like that out from under you guys without communicating
Yeah.
Yeah.
in advance. Thanks for asking. And for anybody who's like bought something from the store, like
That's amazing.
righteous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please never let me say that again. But actually,
kinda liked
though,
it.
for that it is.
I
I reserve it for buying things from the Wolf 59 store. Please tell us if there are any other LGBT characters and which ones they were.
And again, and that's one of those like everything that we know about the characters was so carefully picked and
Intentional.
chosen to identify sort of, you know, who they are and to inform your perspectives on them, that I am loath to sort of say something that would flatten out the remaining possibilities
Yeah.
of any of them. So I think that, you know, we know about the relationships and the preferences that we know about. Everything else, I think, is what you make it. And
Yep.
that continues to be, I think, the best policy.
All right, I got a question for you, Sarah,
okay.
and a question for you, Gabrielle.
Okay.
Was Enel still flying
Huh.
Cutter's plane by the time Cutter and Price left for the Hephaestus, and how would the AIs that Price didn't mess with react to her leaving?
They probably wouldn't know she was leaving because once they're on assignment, they're just
On assignment.
on assignment. They're just doing their jobs. They probably don't have. If I really probably only problem AIs would know about Price.
Right.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So I think Enlil, if he's not still flying Goddard's or Cutter's personal plane, is still property of Goddard Futuristics and is still performing functions for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's really no reason to retire an AI. You can
No.
just update
You
it
can
to the
just
next
update it.
OS or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
Our
you
bro
know,
in the sky.
He is a bro in the sky. It makes me
Our
happy.
sky bro.
Makes me happy.
I think that the more upsetting possibility is that, you know, they may like put that plane into storage while Cutter is gone.
Right.
And it may just sort
It
of
just
like, you
stays
know,
there.
just like stays
And then it was
there.
just like, hello.
No, it's just he's boxed in the
Anybody?
Battlestar Galactica sense.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's better than just being left in the dark.
Yeah.
Anyway, for you, Gabrielle, in the finale, when
Yes.
Rachel dies, she
Yes.
kind of breathes out of, like her last few words, "You were never quite as," and I personally didn't quite catch the end of it. Could you tell us what she was saying?
No.
No.
Thanks.
You
Never.
are not. It is not meant to be something that you textually catch. It is sort of meant to be left
Yeah.
open where that sentence was going.
I have an idea of where that sentence goes, and you can too.
I see what you did.
Yeah.
Did Kepler know about Cutter's multiple ages and personalities?
That's a good question.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I would.
Oh, sorry, everybody's like, Enel, my poor heart. No, poor Enel. Enel was wrong.
Oh, we'll have to tell David Reinstrom.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so great. I love David.
David is amazing,
He's
by the way,
best.
and if
Yeah.
you don't follow his other works,
Right.
few people have done as much good for the radio drama community as David
Listen
Reinstrom.
to Radio Drama Revival.
Listen to Radio Drama Revival.
Yes.
Check out his work with Wondery.
Wondery.
It's all amazing. It's all wonderful.
It is. He's a wonderful man.
Secret Lies and Audio Tape
Yes.
Yes.
and Radio Drama Revival on your podcast app now.
That's right.
Right, but did Kepler know about Cutter?
I would guess that he was probably aware.
And maybe not the origin story.
No.
but aware that Cutter was an alias.
If for nothing else, because Kepler would be smart about
Yeah.
those things and just kind of have like a certain, like you said, like that awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know that he ever got like the clearance to know that necessarily.
No.
He's certainly
but-
smart enough to kind of realize, especially once he met Price,
Right.
that
No, and. Or, sorry.
he was probably the other half of that like writing team that put together that manual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. There's a question that's been copy pasted frequently, I think, which
Uh-huh.
is, would Loveless try to connect with her family?
That is a good question.
That's a very, very good question.
Yeah.
And would she come out as alien? Is my question. If she did.
That's real
That's
tough.
and again, that's one of those like
So many questions.
Yeah.
So
it would
many
take like sort of that's a whole second book.
I know, that's.
of, like,
yeah,
you know,
of
sort
the
of-
adventures of Isabel
I think the Wolf
Lovelace.
359 TV show would be way more interesting if it was picked up on their landing on Earth.
Sure.
Hmm.
Also, producers, call us.
Yeah. HBO.
Yeah,
Call
and again, that's
555-455-5555.
I have sort of ideas about that.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm hesitant to just kind of be
To
like,
share
you
that.
know, this is my pronouncement.
Yeah.
Great. I'll just talk about this other question
Okay.
about Zach doing some Zach stuff.
Ooh.
Did you have anything else to say on that?
I
No,
don't think.
I think that, but I think that those are somewhat the right questions to be asking for that character and for that journey. And I think that it is totally valid to kind of go, she would sort of become this public spokesperson and this crusader and kind of, you know, just sort of like own in the open everything that happened to her and everything that was done to her in order to, you know, make sure that nothing like that ever happened to anyone else.
Sure.
I could also see her kind of going the route of,
It would-
after everything that's happened to me, I really need some time to kind of reconnect and rediscover my own humanity and sort of like, you know, really
Right.
find personal peace before I can bring peace to others.
And like my connecting with these people and the person that they have lost, who is me but isn't quite, might be dishonest in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they would see her
Right.
and I'm me.
Right.
Yeah. It could go any number of ways.
And I am the walrus. Good look at you.
God bless you, Zach.
Truly the best of us.
So about that, guys, Zach started writing mini episodes for the show in the later seasons. How did that end up happening? Was a lot of it improvised?
Well, you wrote the first mini episode way back in season 1.
We co-wrote that.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That was a lot of fun. I still remember that. And how did that end up happening? Was it improvised? Does Zach have other projects he's written as well? So starting from the top, yes, I did do mini episodes. That ended up happening because I wanted to, and because do you know how much work these two had?
Zach also wrote an episode
You
in
wrote an
season
episode,
2.
Yeah.
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 Like, Zach has been sort of
He's
like
been-
involved in the writing.
Yeah,
For
and
at
And-
least as long as I have.
Yeah.
I've definitely been in the writer's room at a high level from day one. And then did do an episode in season 2, and then in season 3
You wrote an episode.
wrote an episode, but also like wrote all those mini episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, so
if anyone doesn't follow Who Writes What as closely, Zach wrote all of the backstory mini episodes
Right.
that were in the
happens
middle of
between,
season 3, between Overture and Happy Endings.
Thank you.
which was super fun and not written last minute. But it was actually
Nothing was written
No.
out last minute,
Yeah.
and
Nor
not in this
revised
show.
drunkenly over the 4th of July.
Jesus. But yeah, how that came about is because I wanted to, and because there's just like a little bit of a, like we divide and conquer when things need doing, and that just made sense at the time.
No, and there was, I think, sort of like an explicit discussion of like, we have all these things that need to get written. You want to write a couple of episodes. I have these episodes that I really want to write. Zach, you want to write something. Emma wants to write something.
Right.
What makes sense?
Yeah, for people's schedules and like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that just sort of shook out that way. None of it was improvised, from what I remember. I think it was very close to the
No.
book.
Aside from like.
I think long story short.
Long Story Short has a couple of ad libs.
Yeah.
But like 99% of it was written out. Like there's like maybe one line that got added in. I think that the only time in Wolf 359 when I genuinely went, just make something up, just say something into the microphone, is in All Things Considered,
That's right.
when you and Emma and Noah are just screaming into the microphones when you're on fire
Right.
in the background and you cannot be understood.
Yeah. It's.
In All Things Considered.
That's
Right.
the episode that's like.
Perspectives.
Sorry.
Yeah, that sort of is Eiffel's story, then Jacoby's. then
Right.
Eiffel's.
But wasn't
Yeah.
there a time before that when things were burning and I did like the Lord's Prayer or something like that?
Oh, that's right.
But that was something that you suggested in rehearsal and then got written into the script.
got it. I forgot
Yeah.
that was
wasn't
written.
improvised,
Yeah,
yeah.
got it. So that was the only time in the studio where it's like, just fucking go for it. Right.
And where it was like explicitly like,
Like,
say something
something-
different every take.
Yeah. It's like this
Um,
isn't gonna get heard. No pressure to like say anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like be
just like
on
Scream.
fire.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
improvise
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think that everything else was like
Pretty scripted.
rigorously scripted with revisions that included suggestions from rehearsals.
Right,
So it
Absolutely.
included
yes.
kind of lines from the audience, not from the audience, from the actors.
Right.
Yeah.
My shins are on fire. Wow, people listen to that. That's amazing.
Well, we published it. We published
Yeah,
it as an
the-
extra
yeah,
on
Right,
the
right, right.
page,
Which
on
if you
the
haven't listened
on the webpage. Yeah.
to
That's
the extra,
incredible.
or if you haven't gone to the extra page, there's lots of fun stuff.
There's a lot of goodies.
Yeah.
And I guess other projects that I've written, I have a feature script on the Wesleyan
do.
Thesis Archive.
Producers
Yeah, it's called Smoke and Ocean.
smoke those oceans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about
Honors, baby.
Yeah, it's sitting in a leather-bound thing next to other actual works of academics, and what is it? The quick synopsis is, it's a sort of summer romance with a gang of hippies that run drugs at night to fund their need for speed in racing cigarette boats in the 1970s. It's fun. There are explosions. Have I written anything else? I don't know.
That's a question for you, my friend.
Some stuff. Whatever. It's probably good. Oh yeah. I have some things. Salon.com. If you Google Zach Valenti man boobs, I have a piece in Salon. That was the first
actually
piece I
If
ever
there,
published.
if there was ever an enticing
I know.
set of
Google.
It's
instructions,
actually like a really heartfelt personal essay.
it really is. It's
But-
pretty amazing.
But just for the joy of it, Google search.
Well, Google search Zach Valenti man boobs.
So there's Zach Valenti man boobs, and then I also wrote a Father's Day op-ed that got published by the Wall Street Journal about how to celebrate Father's Day when you still live at home. And if you ever want to read some hashtag shade, the comment section on that, I think I was called a terrorist more than once.
What were you doing?
For being a millennial that lived at home. They take it really seriously. It was really weird.
You're not contributing to the economy.
It was dark.
Jesus, friendly
It was-
Christ.
Dark.
I know some of those people.
So yeah, those are other things that I've written that are in the world sphere. How we know how all of the characters have started their careers in Goddard Futuristics, except for Kepler.
Yep.
How did he join the company? Who was he before that? Bonus question: do you have any drafts, ideas for what exactly happened on that disastrous mission Kepler, Cutter, and Rachel are talking about in Kansas?
We know what that is.
Oh yeah,
yeah
we do,
no,
we do.
like
that's
we
that's
like
oh that's right. Yeah.
so so sort of the unfortunately.
The
My cat's snoring really
it's
loudly.
really adorable. I don't know if the mics are picking it up.
So, so as writers, we sort of map out in excruciating detail almost everything that has happened to these people over the course of their lives.
It's true.
We then sort of put as much of it into the show as sort of feels appropriate for what the story needs to be, which is oftentimes less than 5% of like the bios that we generate for these people. So we know a lot of how he got involved in the company, what like sort of his ups and downs were, his
What
like,
his life was like before that.
his relationship
Yeah.
with Littlewood and sort of his superiors.
Man, I forgot about
Kepler
all of
works better for you guys without that kind of specificity mucking around.
Yeah.
He works better sort of as the cipher and as the sort of like, less less accessible one out of everyone.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is maybe like the last 3 questions.
All right.
Cool.
Chat, now's your time. I'm going to do 1 more from here and then 2 more from there.
All right.
I want to ask something that hasn't been asked before.
All right.
Holding for
Question originality.
originality. Thank you. That's the word.
How about
This
this?
cat is so distracting.
Jeffy's been in rare form tonight. If Price and Cutter each ruled their own planets, what would those planets be like? And why would they ever go to war?
Ooh. That's a good
I
question.
mean, my sort of intuitive answer is they wouldn't, and they would be very,
No.
very, very similar planets.
Have you heard of the Stotzi?
Yeah, it would be a lot of, like, sort of a more capitalistic version
Of this,
of, like, sort of, like, the East German surveillance society is probably a lot of what you'd see.
Yeah. Very technocratic, invasive, but yeah, more capitalistic.
Yeah, very, like, forward at all costs.
Yeah.
All innovation is good innovation.
Yeah.
All sort of like, progress is good progress.
But how would their
Forward.
2 planets be different?
That's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
like, there may be some like
Cutters
very
would be a musical planet. Whatever you want to say.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, like
something crazy like that.
I'm like that's sort of what I'm struggling with. Like,
It's how
their
yeah.
personal mansions would be very different. Like
Yes.
Cutter's mansion would be something out of a Gene Kelly musical.
Correct.
But like the society at large, I think that they would be extraordinarily similar
Yeah.
because they are people that would sort of want societies that are very, focused on. You're constantly trying to improve yourself. You're constantly, sort of like focused on letting go of the things that stop being useful. You're constantly focused on, are you doing everything that you can to improve yourself? Are you doing everything that you can to improve other people? Are you upholding your responsibility to the state and to like, sort of like the safety
Right. Of the state.
of those around
Yeah.
you?
It would be
Um,
like the fully dystopic version of oh god, why am I blanking on this name? Zaofu in Legend of Korra.
Yes.
That is
yes.
what it would look like.
Yes. But but I think that part of why Cutter and Price got along so well was that when they encountered each other, they sort of realized this is a person that's trying to do the same thing that I'm trying to do. And one person is going at it through like one angle and another person is going at it through another angle.
Yeah.
But I think that sort of their idea of what the objective is
Is the same.
very, very, very similar. Why they would go to war? I don't know.
Because
Price didn't like a musical that Cutter showed her. He said it was kind of boring, and he was like, I'll show her.
I think because from their perspective, war breeds a certain kind of technological innovation.
This is
Sure,
true.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just like, we don't care who wins. We both win
right.
if we invent new ways to do
Sure.
interesting
Yes,
and then
things.
sort Of,
absolutely.
and then sort of that,
kind of 1984.
Oceania has
Yeah,
always
yeah,
been
yeah,
a
yeah.
war.
I mean,
State,
it's like
yeah.
ring, ring, ring. So it's time? Yeah. Let's do this thing.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure.
So there's a great question. I will add a caveat to this. Just one funny thing, but
Okay.
the actual questions you can start thinking about it
Okay.
is on TV tropes. Something happened. What happened? Gabrielle, we read on TV tropes that you had to take away Emma's script in box 953 to get her to sound more drunk. Can you confirm? Because I love this.
I didn't take it away. She put it down. It wasn't the script. It was the lyrics to Modern Major General.
Yeah.
Was that a suggestion you made?
No, you kept saying that it needed to be more slurred, more
Right.
slurred.
I was like drunker.
Yeah,
drunker,
you were like
drunker.
you wanted it to be more
Yeah.
slurred, and finally, she was like, "All right," and she sounded super drunk, and you were like, "That was great. What was it?" And she was like, "I put down the lyrics sheet, and I just went by what I
right.
could remember
Right.
Yeah.
from memory, and just slurring all the words I didn't automatically know."
Right.
But
I know
yes.
it hurt her to do anything less than great justice
Yeah.
to that.
She's a
But
Um,
trooper, is
that
what
was
she
that was
worked
the
on.
correct.
Yeah.
I stand by that note.
No.
So
It was
good.
it was a good note,
Yeah.
and like the only reason why you were giving it was because I was slower than you were on the draw. I was also like, yeah, no, this needs to be like drunker and more ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yes, that is
The story there.
what happened there. But yes, there was that time that Emma took away her own lyric sheet for acting power.
Before we get to the last question, somebody said, I haven't read the article on Wall Street Journal yet, but like seriously, what did you do to these people, Valenti? They are so mad. Yeah, I think millennials make the readership of the WallStreetJournal.com mad AF. It's hilarious. If you ever want a good time for some good shade, check that out. Question. Yeah.
I was reading something today that like really caught my eye, where someone was saying online, like, having done a extensive study of what about millennials pisses people off by being a millennial and having a
Yeah.
bunch of people telling you how awful you are, and
Yeah.
just sort of like receiving all this like uninvited criticism from all these people. The person that was writing this was just sort of making the observation of like, so much of what people criticize about millennials basically kind of amounts to like, why are you not okay being in pain? Why are you not okay suffering economically? Why are you not okay sort of not complaining about this like
Was this
discomfort
the
or this
article
emotional...
that, like, started to unpack the Tide Pod phenomenon?
No, this is something that's...
There's a similar piece that I read a couple days ago, but anyway.
This is something that somebody posted on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And it might be an extract from something else. But yeah, but they were sort of saying, like, it's interesting because, one would think that societally, if we were, like, generation number 23 has it so much better and, like, suffers so much less than generation 22, you would think that we would all be like, yes, progress, forward, good things.
Yeah.
But so many people just, like, reflexively are, like, just, like, no, I suffered. So, like, the fact that you want to be less in suffering than I was kind of pisses me off, like, existentially. I don't know, it was an interesting sort of, like, moment of, like, God, that is kind of what a lot of it comes down to. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or that your responses to hardship are not satisfactory.
And kind of, like,
Yeah.
not just like, not stiff upper-lipped enough. Yeah.
Right. The accusation seems to be like, you fucking entitled fucks. Excuse my French. Why so entitled?
Yeah.
Right.
But again, but sort of like
Generation that inherited and then squandered the greatest economic and stability surplus in recorded history. Never mind, I love you, baby boomers.
But again, but the
Shade
entitlement...
versus shade.
But the entitlement
My new podcast.
The entitlement so often isn't like, where's my Lamborghini? Like, the entitlement so often is like,
Why am I crippling college debt?
I'd like
Put
a
my
job.
rent.
Yeah.
Be slightly less, please.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Why avocado toast so expensive?
Yeah. Health benefits. What are they?
Yeah.
Anyway, end of tangent.
End of tangent.
That's funny.
I'm gonna have to go read some of these comments now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are rough.
They're lit.
It is amazing. Okay, the last
We're also
question
awful. Millennials
of the
are awful.
evening.
Yes.
Least favorite movie.
Oh God.
Jesus.
I don't know.
So one time, so there's a story here.
Okay.
1 second. So I used to rent DVDs. I know. There are these discs that lasers. Anyway, so we'd go to this place, and it wasn't like a chain. It was just like this one-off near my friend's neighborhood. And there was always this dude who would play Squirrel Shooter. This like computer game. He was just like always like, I'm playing Squirrel Shooter, and we would ask him like, what's the shittiest horror movie we can get our hands on?
Mm-hmm.
And one time he came through with Weasels Rip My Flesh,
Oh, this stupid
Oh,
thing. I've
yeah.
heard this. Yeah.
which is the worst movie I will ever see. It has a budget of, I think maybe they made money making this movie before. Like I think somebody paid them on a bet. They must have.
Sure.
They literally lit a piece of dog poop on fire as a landing pad for a spaceship that was a bottle rocket. Yeah, it's about a bit of space radioactive goop that touches a weasel that makes it into a giant weasel that if you cut it up, its parts become alive, and if it scrapes you or touches you, basically, you become a weasel zombie and then turn other people into weasel zombies. I don't recommend it.
It's like the rhinoceros, but weasels.
It's so much worse. Yep. That's it.
If you judge it if like the question is just like, if the metric for least favorite movie is like, what movie were you the most upset at when the movie ended? Like, you know, like if you measured all the times, all the movies when they were over, like the second when the movie was over, if you measured my emotional reaction, which one
Sure.
of those was the one where you were the most like upset at the movie?
Yeah.
If that's the winner, next with
Oh.
Nicolas Cage. I don't think I've ever been as upset as I was at the end of that movie.
I'm rewatching Community, and Nicolas Cage, good or bad, is in my mind.
And if you have not seen Next,
Yeah.
don't see Next. It's a terrible film. But if you do,
Tweet him.
see, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, should I just like spoil what this like?
No, don't spoil
I
it.
mean, I'm never gonna watch it,
But, like, maybe someone
might.
will.
Yeah.
I
Okay, if you're
won't-
gonna spoil it, pause the video, skip ahead, like...
No, I won't.
No.
I won't do it.
Okay,
Just
okay.
don't watch this movie. There's better movies to see. This is just like a very, very stupid movie that just has like a twist
Sure.
that like to me felt like the movie just like slapped me in the face with like something gross and slimy and hairy, and I was just like very upset.
We got a Sharknado, man. Sharknado.
But like Sharknado
It's
Sharknado
going
is
for it, though.
exuberant.
and Sharknado
Yeah.
doesn't pretend
No,
for a second
that it's anything-
anything other than
yes.
exactly what it is.
You are 100%
Next
correct.
has pretensions that Sharknado
Yeah.
does not.
I just lost the title of this stupid movie. That's
What
how
is
much
it
I
about?
don't like it. Just give me a second. Keep
Moulin
talking
Rouge.
about Shark. No, I love Moulin Rouge. I wore that
okay,
soundtrack
okay.
out.
Okay. Top Hat.
Yes.
I'm just gonna keep naming movies that I know Sarah likes until she remembers what it is.
I don't like.
In Bruges. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
No, you know what?
Uh-huh.
I have a couple stories. Not about The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is a great film. But in terms of that sensation of being mad,
Yeah.
it might be Gone with the Wind.
Oh, hell yeah. No, me
Yeah.
too. The Gone with the Wind is up there for me. Yeah.
Because I remember very perfectly. This was a period in my life when I was sort of just discovering my love of history. I was maybe 9 or 10 years old. And I was fascinated by the American Civil War. And it was a rainy day. We were at the beach. And my mother promised me that we were going to use this, oh, it's about the Civil War, this movie that's on TCM.
Well, parts of it are about the Civil War.
I waited for 4 hours of this stupid, fraught romance that has done untold cultural damage to our country.
It really has.
And not once did Sherman show up. Like, they burned down a hotel in Atlanta. I suppose that's cool. I was mad at Gone with the Wind when it was over.
Right, it's a movie on the margin of the Civil War, but it's
Yes.
never a movie about,
About
the
the
Civil
Civil
War.
War.
Yeah.
So I remember being furious when that was over. I also had to watch Crossroads on a bus, and that was pretty bad. It was pretty
Crossroads,
Yeah.
like the Britney
Yes.
Spears, like
Yes.
2001-ish
That
thing.
Oh,
one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That one. I've seen that movie. I have deep regrets about however long of my life I'll never get back.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think about like what's something that I was like physically relieved when it was over. Like
Yeah.
what's something that I was like, oh thank God.
Right. And I mean, there are movies like I was physically relieved when Melancholia ended.
Oh,
That's
but
a
like,
good
but
movie.
that's a different way.
It's a
yeah.
different kind
That's a
of
different
relief.
kind of relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, anything by Lars von Trier that I've seen have been
Yeah.
immediate relief.
Yeah. Well, those are 3 movies.
Those are 3 movies.
Well, folks, you heard it here
Oh.
first. We're so grateful. We love you. This
Yes,
is so
we
fun.
really
So
do.
fun.
You
We
guys are
will-
the
You're the
best.
best.
Definitely see you next month.
Yes.
And in the meantime, if you have any questions, we're not on social media.
Nope.
No.
We don't know the internet.
Nope.
What is that?
We don't do newsletters
yeah.
or anything like that.
No.
Pairings podcast. Check it out.
Yeah.
Mr. Jarko.
Do it.
Do the stuff.
Micro
Micro
Story
Time.
All kinds of things, yeah.
Controlled Chaos.
Controlled Chaos is
the,
my
uh,
newsletter.
new
Yes.
Which is
newsletter.
fabulous.
Which I still need to send out today. So if you're waiting for that, that'll be out tonight sometime.
At some
Yes.
point, yeah.
Coming back with Focused.af, the podcast.
Ooh.
Soon. You can learn more at Focused.af.
Hey.
It's .af is like .com if that's unclear. Now it's not.
Yeah.
Um,
And,
yeah.
Come hang out with me on Twitter as we all get more anxious together.
It's a party.
It's great.
At Shack Attack.
No.
Or at Sarah Shackett.
At Sarah Shackett. I grew up, you guys.
Oh my god.
I got a real username.
At Sarah Shackett. Did you keep at Shack Attack?
No.
Oh, it could be yours.
It's yours now. It's yours. Someone take it.
Oh boy.
And just know that my phone keeps
No,
accidentally
it's not.
tagging.
It's not. It is taken because my brother has it.
No!
Yeah.
Oh my
He grabbed it
god.
For you or for himself?
No, for himself.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's
great.
Yeah. No,
That's
no,
actually
you
awesome.
can't
That's
have it.
that's the happiest ending that story could have.
Anyway,
Seriously though, say hi to Shack Attack. And
he'll
Sarah
be
Shackett.
delighted. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys. Until next time. This is the part where I now find the button to end the stream.
Bye, guys.
Bye, we love you. You are the best. You are the most amazing. I'm just gonna keep talking until Zach cuts me off, but I love you guys. You're the best. So good. Amazing.